So, so Mike,
Yes, ma'am.
you and I have known each other about, wait, hang on now, over 40. We know each other from way in our teens in Jamaica. We leave it at that. Um, and so for me, Mike is who I grew up with. Who is Maho, and where did Maho?
You know, value our friendship. As you said, we've known each other for over 40 years, and it's been such a beautiful ride between you and I. All right, so Maho. Maho is actually my name. It's a abbreviated version of my name. My name is Michael Andrew O'Shane. So it's M.A. O'Shane. So that's where Maho come from. And I never identified with Michael. I never felt like I was a Michael. From I was a kid, I never felt like I was a Michael. I always felt like I was somebody else. And the name Wang Ping Sao came to mind. I don't know what Wang Ping Sao means,
Mm-hmm.
but I felt like my name was Wang Ping Sao. And appreciate. I use Maho from I was in New York. That was a name I used to sign a lot of my paintings. And if you look at my work, it actually tells, realize I was Maho. That's how it came out.
Yeah, it was a rebirth then, in a way, to present yourself as, and now that you say that, just sitting in Maho.
Mhm.
So this is where you go forward.
I would say it's not necessarily, it could be a rebirth, but it also could be a point of self discovery as well.
Okay.
Accepting who I am,
Mm-hmm.
because I know I wasn't this box person.
Mm-hmm. And identification is key,
Right,
to be authentic to oneself, right?
exactly.
All the experiences, the growth out of that.
Because you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And sometimes we think we're standing in our essence or in our identity, and then we realize we really were standing in our box,
Mm-hmm.
and the box wasn't of our making.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We just adopt the box and
Mm-hmm.
start identify with the box.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the experiences come your way to strip you of that box,
Mm-hmm.
it shake your world and it shake your whole frame of reference. And out of
Yeah.
that shaking comes your true essence, your
Mm-hmm.
true identity. The
True.
question is, do you understand when it's happening?
Mm-hmm.
Because it happening under sometimes some very traumatic scenario,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Very traumatic scenario. But you won't know it. The only response to the trauma is to suffer. That's the
Yep.
most natural response to
Yep.
trauma.
Yep.
But when you learn there's another way than to suffer, and that way is to surrender, then you start to realize now that your surrender is like a ship on the ocean, right?
Mm-hmm.
A ship on the ocean without a rudder, you just meander all over the place. A ship on the ocean with a rudder, you can define a direction.
Yes.
Right? So it's a very delicate balance
Mm-hmm.
between, in terms of when you're discovering yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very delicate balance. You have to know when to set an intention, when to release, when to let go, and to be able to.
And you carry a very strong energy, a palpable spirit.
People say that you have changed,
Yeah.
and that is something that is sometimes very difficult to determine
Mm-hmm.
being you.
Mm-hmm.
And you only can appreciate that through other people's eyes.
Right. Right.
Because I've known I've changed based on what I like and what I don't like and how I used to feel and not.
Mm-hmm.
But when somebody actually look at you and say, but you're very different,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I am.
Mm-hmm.
And then that person, not that it colors you, but it gives you a better frame of reference.
Yeah, and therein lies the truth of no man is an island, because it's important that part of our opening and part of what we need to accept, understand that having close, not a plethora of friends, you just need to have people in your life that you vibrate with, that understand you and you understand.
Right.
It really doesn't matter.
Right.
But people shy away from the sharing and the vulnerability. You and I are mirrors for each other.
Right.
Have always been.
Right.
And without that, sometimes I wouldn't see. So it's a necessary part to be open,
Yeah.
not to lay yourself careless, of course, but to absorb and recognize the fact that we're all really doing the same.
And openness is as you say is very important. But what does openness look like?
Mm-hmm.
Is like some people use the word love. It's all love. It's all love. You know, And then you ask them, what really is love?
Mhm.
And then everybody have a different definition. Shoot for the essence as much as I possibly can. And when I say shoot for the essence, is look beyond my preference, be able to look from another point of view, another person's experience, and to look at it from a multiplicity of direction. And to me, when you come to that point, that is the essence. When your feelings, your emotions no longer color the thing that you see, but you can see it objectively
Yeah.
without any
Yeah.
expectations, you
And the
know?
key word is your feelings.
Yes. And that to me is something that is very, very hard to translate into somebody because we are so preconditioned, what is good. Good is when everything that I want is at my fingertips, and all my needs are met and I'm safe. But that is not the truth, because the universe don't see good like that. Sometimes some of the harshest experience you're going through, which
Mhm.
is painful to you at the time,
Mhm.
is the best experience for you.
Mhm.
But you only can appreciate that in retrospect. So our understanding and our expectations are always limited by our past.
The preconceived.
Right.
Because it's easier for people, all of us, it's
Hmm.
easier to, we relish when we feel good.
Right.
And not necessarily either that what we're doing or what is eliciting that response is good for you.
Right.
So many times the very thing you relish and you're enjoying and you're like,
Yeah.
is not good at all.
Exactly.
But it's easier for us to see that because we suffer the consequences like
Right.
that, right?
Right.
The other side of the coin, the hardship or the trip ups,
Hmm.
might be the best thing for you.
Yeah.
But because we're so busy suffering, as you say,
Hmm.
and we're so busy lamenting and
Hmm.
woe is me,
Hmm.
we can't see that this is actually is a building block for something else.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's interesting, and point of view is always the thing, as you
Hmm.
said, perspective is always the
Hmm.
thing.
Hmm.
But I just wanted to just sort of recognize people you touch to say, I love you, Maho, and I love you, Mike. And,
I love it too,
we're
Karen.
just going to continue our
Yes.
little journey.
Keeping on,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Keep on
right.
keeping on.
Yeah, man.
All right. Thank you so much for this.
All good.
Yeah.
Yeah.